Hello and welcome to this month's Film School. This month we're going to be looking at filming on a smartphone. First things first, why am I wearing a cap? Because I want to and my hair is awful. So you get a cap. Technology has moved on to a point where a smartphone can actually take some really good video footage. And not a lot of people want to take huge amounts of kit with them, so we're going to prove that you can make some actually really interesting videos just with a smartphone. So the phone I'm going to be using is my iPhone. I have an iPhone 7 Plus. All of these tips are going to be pretty much universal to any smartphone with a half decent camera. So you can use these tips on whatever phone you have. Okay, first things first, and this is one of my genuine bugbears. When you're filming with a phone, please don't hold it like this. Please hold it like this. Because that is how you film. You film in landscape mode. You do not use portrait mode for films. If anyone ever sends me footage, film like this, I cry and send it back to them and never talk to them again. Next, how to hold your phone. Now you can get all sorts of expensive rigs that you plug your phone into and then they can have special lenses on the front, but we're not doing any of the kind of accessories that you can buy for a phone today. Today we are just looking at how to film with the phone on its own without any gubbins attached to it. So what's the best way to hold a phone? Now a lot of people will automatically hold the phone out like this. Now actually that doesn't give you very good stability. You know, your hands are out there, it tends to get a bit shaky and a bit wobbly and it's not great. So first things first, adjust how you hold your hands. Bring your hands down like this. Obviously make sure you're not covering the lens, but bring your hands down and it gives you a much firmer grip on the phone. Second of all, bring it into your body. Use your body and your elbows to support. So straight away, we've got a much stronger and less shaky camera. From there, we need to look at how you move your body. Now that's the key thing. You don't want to be moving your hands. This doesn't work. It tends to get wobbly and it doesn't look great. So what you want to do is you want to hold it into your body and move your whole body. Pivot from your legs. You know, properly pivot from your legs. We should cut to a shot now of my legs pivoting. That'll look fantastic. These are my lovely legs. And this combination of how you hold the phone and holding it into your body and pivoting, keeping it in line with your body, will make all of your footage a lot more stable. Now you can get some really great shots, not just kind of panning shots, but actually you can do the equivalent of a slider shot by making sure you stand to one side and keep it into your body, and then you're just moving across and you're moving your legs, not your top body, and this gives you a nice smooth motion. When you're walking with your phone, try not to just do a standard walk. Basically you want to do a SWAT walk. How the SWAT teams enter a building where their whole body bends at the knees and the knees move but the whole top body stands completely straight and still. So as you move, your whole body stays level. None of this kind of jumping as you walk. I've obviously over-exaggerated that, but you know what I mean. Tip number 3, don't use the camera's zoom. Most of these cameras have what's called a digital zoom. And actually what that does is it just enlarges pixels. It doesn't actually optically zoom in. So of course when you zoom in, you start to lose quality. So just don't do it. If your camera, like the iPhone 7 and like a lot of other Samsungs and things like that now, can film in 4K, think about what we spoke about in last month's show with the 4K filming, and film in 4K and use that to zoom in if you must. Next, think about your shots. Don't limit yourself to always holding up here. Yes, it's nice to see the screen, but realistically, to get some really interesting shots, you want to change the height. Hold it down here rather than up here. Hold it really far down at kind of knee level. Put it on the floor. Get a variety of height of shots because that will really boost your film and make it look a bit more interesting visually. Next, think about light. If you can, film outside or with a lot of light around you, because a phone has a very small lens and that lets in a very small amount of light. The other thing you'll notice with mobile phones is that they have a really bad dynamic range. So what is dynamic range? Well, very basically, it's how well your camera can see very bright whites and very dark blacks. On a very high-end camera, you'll find that the dynamic range is very good, which means that the dark areas can be seen at the same time as the very, very bright areas. So a bright sky will pick up all the blues and all the edges of the clouds. At the same time, you'll be able to see what was in the shadow. Now on a phone, that doesn't happen. If you want to get the detail of a sky with all its blues, you often find that anything in the foreground becomes silhouetted. Then of course, if you set it so you can see what's in shadow a bit better, then the sky just becomes one big bright mess. So the best thing to try and do is avoid this by making sure you've got lots of light and thinking about where your light is coming from when you film. But let me show you on an iPhone how you get around that. I'm pretty sure it's similar on most of the Samsungs and things like that. So when you hold your finger down, you'll see a sign come up saying AEAF lock. This means auto exposure and auto focus are locked. That means your focus will stay exactly where you want it to, and your auto exposure will stay the same, no matter where you point the camera from then on. My last tip is just to get to know your phone. Find out what it can do. For example, this phone can film in 4K at 25 frames a second, which is fantastic. It can also film at 120 frames a second, which is good slow-mo, at 1080p, which is full high def. And if you want to drop the resolution slightly to 720p, you can actually do 240 frames a second, which is pretty amazing. Add to that things like time-lapse, and you can actually make yourself a cool little film. So, using just the tips I've shown you, I didn't have any extra supports, any kind of gizmos with me at all. I just went out with this. I made a little film, very short, very simple, of me with my dog. Just to show you how some of these effects can work. So that was a very short film I made with my dog Maverick, just to give you an idea of actually how well you can use your phone and those very simple tips to actually get some really cracking footage. Okay, so let's now move on to some questions and some comments that have come in this month. Okay, so the first one comes from Serdar Merkin. Sorry, dyslexia, meaning I can't read people's names properly. He wrote, "When he said brothers, I thought you were going to be the KTM 1290 versus the 1090 Adventure." We kind of did that a few episodes ago, just 3 episodes ago. Go back and watch it. It's cool. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the Suzuki review. Next one, very quickly, Will Ashmore, who online said quite a lot of stuff, but finished by saying, "This episode was more visually pleasing than any other motorbike show I've seen on any media. Good job, gentlemen." Well, literally my new best friend, thank you very much. The next question was from a guy called Alan Wright, asking whether I can recommend any apps to edit on. Now, I don't edit on apps personally. I edit everything on a 3-screen Adobe Premiere system, Premiere Pro, which is absolutely fantastic, but I realise that not everyone can do that. First of all, you have to get through all the rubbish apps out there. There are loads and loads of apps which basically just, you pay $1.99 and they let you trim a bit of footage down, and that's about it. If you actually want to get serious about editing on your phone or on your tablet, to be honest, I'd recommend a tablet if you can, because it's going to be a lot better, is if you're using a Apple system, then I would look first at iMovie. It comes free on your phone and your tablet, and it is actually a very, very good system and well worth using. The other one that I've heard very good things about is Pinnacle Studio. Now, Pinnacle Studio I think is only $2.99, but they also do a Pinnacle Studio Pro, which is $12.99. Now, as a piece of kit, it's really, really good. It's as close as you can get to proper kind of editing via an app. It lets you literally edit frame by frame if you need to, and it'll work with 4K footage. So definitely those are the kind of ones I'd check out. And I believe the Pinnacle is available both on Android and on iOS. But if you do use either of those, please let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear about it. Finally, we also had quite a few people asking us to tell them more about Patreon. It's difficult because I don't really like kind of saying, hey, you know, give us money, but at the same time we need to pay the bills, as you all know. Basically, Patreon is a way that you can contribute to the show. Anything from kind of £1 a month to £1,000 a month if you feel the need to. Anyone can go on there and they can do a monthly payment to the show, basically like paying a subscription for the show. Obviously the show is free and we always want to keep it free, but we really appreciate anyone that can go on there and help. And we have some targets as well. So if we reach £1,000 a month from our viewers, then we're going to be able to spend some money and get a second presenter to present alongside Graham on every episode. Because let's be honest, we all love it when he's got someone to work next to, like Nathan, for example. So go to patreon.com/AdventureBikeTV. You'll see us there. If you've got any other ideas of rewards that you'd like us to give out, then please let us know. And thank you very much, everyone, for the support. So far, we have 3 people who are patrons to us, and we genuinely can't thank you enough. So that's it. Keep your questions coming in. If you have anything you want to know, not just about filming, but about the show or anything like that, just let me know. I'm always happy to hear from you. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next month.